Okay, so yeah, so the 4, you know, is worried about not being special. So they're called the individualist, and they want to make sure that what they do is, you know, there's a reason for them being born, not someone else, like for what they do to stand out. And it can become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, all of these can, where you're so concerned about making something happen that you cause it to like never happen. But ironically, by chasing one of the types, you actually can succeed easier, so to speak, with the other two. So it's something funny that happens. So like, for instance, if you're a 4 and you're really concerned with what you're doing being different, you'll eventually come to this point, most likely, where you reach this kind of like humanitarian streak, and you know, your goal that you set out to do to be special put you in a position where you're a part of the collective and helping lift everyone up. And then at this point you seem successful and like a helper, but you don't seem special, because the whole idea of helping the collective makes you a part of everyone else. Yeah, so this kind of irony that will happen. So, you know, and when they're healthy, they will find a way to make their unique contribution while, you know, being successful and those other things. You know, and being helpful, which I'm a 4-wing 3. Well, you know, for simplicity's sake for now though, you know, I'm a 4 in the feelings triad. So, alright, so next is the 5, which is my dominant one, which is called the investigator. The people that become, when unhealthy, more and more disengaged from the world, you know, and disconnected from feeling that they need to have this knowledge to use in the world, because there's so much going on in it. It seems like there's all these things that can kind of, you know, take over you. So you feel like you need to have this knowledge to be able to have something, yeah, to combat all that or to hold it back. But then, since you're a part of the world, really, you hold yourself back as well. So, and then you realize that your castle that you're building, like I did, like with the video I just did with the Saturn realizations, you start to realize that you built your castle in the way of your goal, or you didn't make sure that the, you know, ground was completely open, and you built the moat and everything in a way that is congruent with what's happening out in the outside world. So, and you know, you might be able to stay in your tower, you might even be able to, you know, stave everything off, but are you going to actually be happy just being alone behind, you know, with all this knowledge and never being able to, you know, do anything with it or express it? So, plus a lot of times then the world will just find its way in. So, you know, no matter how strong you build it, because the material that you're using is still made of something from the world. So, yeah. But, you know, when they're healthy, then they take all that drive to, like, have that knowledge and, you know, share it with others and, you know, help other people build their castles, and in turn since you're helping the world, you're also helping yourself build your own castle. So yeah. Then the 6 is the loyalist, it's called. And honestly, well, you know, you should love, appreciate everyone, but being honest, you know, on my in my experiences, the 6 has been the most difficult for me to learn how to coexist with, personally. And I don't know enough yet to make that generalization that that's the case for every 5, but I think I've seen, when I've made responses in the Enneagram groups, they've kind of agreed that you know, there's some difficulty there. Or unless it's like the wings, where you both have like a wing, like since they're next to each other, 6 wing 5 or 5 wing 6, then there's kind of a middle ground of the whole thing with the 6, with them wanting to be a part of a community and being like wanting guidance from others, but really needing to learn how to like follow their own inner guidance, but like asking others a lot what they should do. But you know, if you have a wing towards that, then there's kind of an understanding about that. But I'm a 5 wing 4, so yeah, not the case. And then even 6 wing 5s, it takes I don't know, they can help, but it's almost like there's a step missing before I can go directly to them, if that makes sense. Even though they're right next to each other, which is weird. So, so yeah, and then there's 2 different kinds of the 6. There's the phobic and counterphobic 6. And it's basically like they're wanting to be a part of a community, and they learn a lot about others like inside of their group, so that they can, you know, all be a part of it. Like for instance, if a bunch of people like rally, you know, that same guy that I was talking about before, he made the example of like rallying, like people going together to like a football game to like root for them or something, like, which in his case it was soccer because he's British, but and you know, ultimately they spend a lot of time like asking people, like trying really hard to get these answers that they're looking for about like how they can get along in the world. And it's based out of this fear, which is what the thinking triad all have in common. When their like line of integration is to a 9, and they're supposed to learn how to relax